go ahead and call this meeting to order. If you please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all for joining us. It's July 25th, Monday. This is Broadwater County Commissioners' General Business Meeting. Before we get started, we do have an open meeting process, a civility policy, and we follow Robert's Rules of Order. The purpose is to open all our meetings to all Broadwater County citizens. We have a fiscal and fiduciary responsibility to conduct county business as efficiently as possible for all our residents. Our meetings are recorded. They are on YouTube, so please state your full name prior to any public comment for the record. Any separate conversations need to be removed from the meeting and conducted outside. Outbursts will not be tolerated. Public comment will give each person who wishes to speak an initial 3 minutes to do so, and all comments will be directed to the board chair. So with that, we start our meetings with public comment. Is there any public comment this morning? Public comment. Dwayne.
Dwayne Holm. The last 3 to 4 days, been hearing about this character in jail that's having little fits or something. And I call the ambulance every time instead of, what is this costing us? And why is it happening? You know, I thought they had a different situation.
Legislature, that costs minutes.
All right. Any other public comment this morning?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, Tim
Please
Ravendahl.
Thank you.
I just would like to compliment those that have been working really hard on the transparency and accountability here in Broadwater County regarding our recent indictment, moving forward to get that accountability and stop the fraud against the people of Broadwater County. Thank you.
Dwayne, I guess one thing I'd say on that, at one time, I know they charged Brenda $800 to take a prisoner over to the hospital, so she got a gurney and a wheelchair, and was just taking more that way, so I don't know, I haven't checked on that anyway.
The ambulance is called every time. And that's been at least 4 to 5 times this weekend.
He's having seizures.
Pardon?
He's having seizures. So, but she didn't buy a gurney, she bought a wheelchair. And I bought a wheelchair for the detention center to walk him over. But when they're having a seizure, that's a different medical emergency. So that's why the ambulance was called. I know I talked with the captain this morning on that issue, and they're looking to resolve it.
How are they gonna resolve seizures?
Good question. He's already sentenced, so they're looking to move him to the prison.
All right, Montana Minute. Franklin, you have anything good to say about our community or our state?
Yeah. Last week I mentioned Lewis and Clark coming through here and everything. Well, it says the first reported weather in Montana was at that time, and they reported it as 80 degrees on the Missouri rivers that come up through this area here. And the other thing I want to bring up is a memory of Bob Bagley, who was a janitor here for years, did it all himself, did a great job. He most of these counters and all them countertops and the carpet door, he did that while he was a janitor. Real good.
I just read the story this past week of the young man that lost his life on the lake this weekend, so my heart just goes out to his lost the loved ones.
I'm going to salute our kids. We had Slice of Summer this past Thursday, which is a joint effort for the community by Rotary, Lions, Elkhorn Fellowship Church, National Honor Society, and the 4-H exchange program. And I was helping clean up going around collecting garbage, and I look behind me and there's 5 kids collecting garbage with me. I didn't ask them, they just saw me doing it and jumped in to help. So Broadwater County kids, in my opinion, are pretty awesome characters, and I'm pretty thankful for them. Any other Montana minutes? All right. Before we move on any further, I'd like to have a moment of silence for the young person who lost his life on the lake, and also for our past maintenance supervisor, Mr. Bagley. If you please join me. Thank you. All right, Commissioners, community update. Franklin, what'd you do this week?
Checked on a road complaint on 437. Went to the LAPC meeting.
Nick?
Wednesday, I had a fire board meeting. Commend our volunteer fire departments and members of those departments. And also I did attend the LAPC meeting on Thursday. And throughout the week I had, again, a lot of phone calls on the job description and market analysis project that we're in the midst of. And also a couple road issues that I've already contacted the road department on.
Just ditto on the rural fire guys and gals. They do an awesome job. I can't say enough about how great they are. There was the trust board meeting this past week, and a group of citizens have put together an idea for enhanced recreation in the community. So great opportunity. There was a fire safety call Tuesday morning, just updating us on the fire conditions. I also attended LEPC, and then we had a meeting on Goose Bay Road. We are doing the FLAP grant, which is Federal Lands Access Program, and at least one on the review committee ranked us as the #1 project. We got a very high ranking. They came out to look at the road, to talk about some of the issues and what's underneath those, to verify how much of the work Dana and his crew are going to do. There was some really good information. I'm sorry you guys weren't able to make it, but the information they shared that's coming from the state and federal level regarding counties using their own crews for these kinds of activities was really a great message to hear. So hopefully next time they come, they'll probably just come in November is when we expect to hear news, and I expect and hope it will be positive that we are going to get that project. So that's it. We have minutes to approve from last meeting, July 18, 2016. Those were sent out earlier this week.
I'll make a motion to approve July 18th, 2016 Commissioner meeting minutes.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of July 18, 2016. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Ann. We have timesheets from our department heads. I have reviewed those already.
to sign department heads' timesheets.
Is there a second? I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to sign the department heads' timesheets. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye, opposed?
No.
Please let the record show, motion carries with a 2-1 vote to sign department heads' timesheets.
Reason being is that, I have no idea if they worked 10 hours or they worked 50 hours. So I'm not gonna sign off on anything that I'm not sure of.
I think that just moved. Did it?
Yeah, I'll get the batteries down maybe.
I just want to make sure it wasn't the camera.
Come on through, Bob, if you want to.
Just for a second, then I better get back to work.
All right, and just a reminder to the commission, this instructions to sign timesheets, of course, is in the personnel policy handbook, and instruction from Michelle Quigley, the HR consultant. And even though we can't follow every employee 100% of the time, that is a deterrent, and it actually helps keep fraud at bay. So just a small piece of work that we have to do. So mail, we have a Facebook page printout. I don't know who left this for us in our mailbox, but it's Consumer Alert. Air ambulance services in Montana raise concerns. I read this and compared it to the Air Medcare that we went ahead and did on behalf of our citizens. And it sounds like it's two different things. This is still something that we know is being investigated by the National Association of Counties. But to bring you guys up to speed, people who have found themselves in an emergency situation where they've needed to be airlifted have at the end of the airlift received bills, and Monica's Facebook states in excess of $55,000. We've heard as high as $80,000. Lindine's office has received numerous complaints from Montanans who were transported by private air ambulance service and were later billed many tens of thousands of dollars after the insurance company did not cover the cost of the ambulance ride. Many Montana hospitals have their own ambulance service, ours does not. These services are in a health insurance company's network and are covered by insurance. But however, many standalone air ambulance services are not part of an insurance company network, and those fees are not covered by insurance. As a consequence, Montanans who are transported by private air ambulance services receive a balance bill for the amount the insurance will not cover. So what we did is we went ahead and purchased Air Medcare for the citizens of Broadwater County. You are now covered. If your medical provider has to do all the calling for you, they're the ones who make the call. And this will hopefully alleviate this issue that Commissioner Lindine's office has brought forward. So we hope it will, at the very least, save some lives and hopefully also save some loved ones some big bills. So, yes, Tim?
Madam Chair, Tim Randall, where is the funding coming from to cover that backstop of or shortfall?
Yep, that's coming from PIL. So the federal government's property taxes in Broadwater County is paying for you to have.
Okay, so how much, and a follow-up, please.
Yes,
how
they're
much
paying
are
for
we
you
paying?
and all citizens to have Air Medcare air transport
Understand
services.
that.
$24,000
per year?
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's very reasonable. Yes, Bill?
I know you sang with AirMed, what about Summit?
They're part of it. It's a four-member consortium. So it's Air Evac, Reach for Life, Eagle Med, MedTrans, and I don't see Summit, but I think they're a part of one of those, because I remember hearing about them.
AirMed bought Summit,
Thank you.
so Summit's is no longer a business. AirMed bought them out.
All right, Bureau of Land Management, they are requesting comments on their travel management plan and environmental assessment, and just a reminder of the link.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes, Tim?
Is that statewide BLM or is that area Pacific travel plan?
You know, as far as those specifics, if you care to comment, go
You
ahead and
don't
get on the,
Have that answer?
not off the top of my head, no, the card's over here, it might say on the card, but you go ahead and look at it if you like. Any particulars will be on the website, and they can much better answer those than any subsequent questions for you.
Park Gallatin and Broadwater.
Thank you.
We also have the Bureau of Land Management for Montana and the Dakotas, Steward Magazine, some updates for you. Oh, sorry, this was supposed to go with the postcard, that's also from BLM. We have a notice from DEQ, Montana Department of Environmental Quality. City of Fort Benton is requesting to be issued a wastewater discharge permit. Even though this isn't in Broadwater County, if you know anyone who lives there, please let them know. And the town of Stanford, same story. We have an email from John Semple. And this was sent to everyone, but mosquito CO2 trap data, he did include that. He is preparing an aerial and ground adulticide to begin this week in anticipation of Fair Week. Calls have been minimal, and with haying seemingly to be winding down, the numbers of adult mosquitoes should be slowing up. Let's see. Please note, the RAMP machine has not indicated any West Nile antigen in either Culex tarsalis or Culex pipienus. And of course, we'll have to wait and see and keep testing. So there's that. And then the last is just a news email that came from Chris Marquand, who is our representative at the National Association of Counties. And that is pertaining to the PILT funding, well, EPA funding bill, but that is what they've wrapped PILT into. We have a claim here we need a signature on, and this is for the mosquito contract with John Semple. Mosquito board already voted to approve contracting with John Semple this year, so we need somebody to sign that so we can get him paid.
Make a motion to sign the JAH and INC claim in the amount of $5,500.
Do we have a second?
One second.
So moved and seconded to sign the JHS Inc. Claim for mosquito services for $5,500. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Okay. And if you two then could sign or initial on the bottom. Okay, we have the approved claims that we have reviewed in the amount of $42,247.78. These are from last week.
I'll make a motion to pay the approved claims in the amount of $42,247.78.
No second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay the approved claims in the amount of $42,247.78. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We have the approved claims from last fiscal year in the amount of $46,619.94.
I move to approve the last fiscal year's claims in the amount of $46,619.94.
No second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay the approved claims in the amount of $46,619.94. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And one more, we have the approved, we didn't have any last week, so we're catching up. One more is approved claims in the amount of $63,127.06.
This includes payroll.
No. These are all just claims.
I'll make a motion to pay the approved claims in the amount of $63,127.06.
It's been moved and seconded to pay the approved claims in the amount of $63,127.06. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
While we're on claims, that one claim of mine dated 10/1/15, that you said had been paid. I talked to accounting, and they said it had not been paid. And the claim dated 6/12/16, accounting didn't even have that claim.
What was the second one?
Hmm?
What was the second one?
6/12/16.
And what was the other one?
10/1/15. That's the one you said was paid. They said it hadn't been.
All right. We don't have those here right now. Did I see a hand up? All right. Okay,
How come accounting
10:30.
didn't have the other?
Excuse me?
How come accounting didn't have it?
That's something you might want to talk to accounting about.
I talked to them.
All right. We can't pay any claims without having those. All right, 10:30. We don't have any COS reviews. You want to say more, Franklin?
Was the 6/12/2016 claim the one for over 1,000?
Right.
That one, we discussed that. That one's not paid until after the line item is adjusted. So once we have that, then that's when that gets paid. That was discussed at our last meeting with Corey.
Madam Chair, I
Yes.
believe that was also in the minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why that claim has not been paid yet.
Like I said, they didn't even have it.
I gave it to him. I personally gave it to him
After-
after our meeting.
So was it?
I think I came up on Wednesday.
Whenever when I talked to them, they didn't have it, so. But good, if you had it, then you turned it in, that's good.
Yep.
You good with moving on, Franklin?
Hmm?
You good with moving on into the agenda?
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. 10:30, Mike Conkey, DES, request for authorization of Phase 2 Deep Creek Flood Mitigation Project, sign agreement and assign applicant's agent decision.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
And you emailed this to you, but I'll mail that to you again. We're looking at just the first page right now. About, actually, I didn't bring it, they came, brought them to town. We're back to that. My bad.
Did you guys work out a dance?
We did.
Yeah. All right.
Just take one, pass it on.
Okay, this is the Deep Creek Flood Mitigation Project going clear back to the flood of 2011. And we've completed our phase 1 process and identified a bunch of projects. Number B there, phase 2 approval by FEMA and Montana DES. The total projects we're going to fund is $652,250. The total amount for Fed, local match, that'll be either in kind or in actual money. And some of that will be county in kind, and some of that will be private funds. See there, public works projects, we're going to construct concrete bridges there at Carson Lane, Lightning Barn, to replace the steel culverts, so we're going to do a repair of the footings on the Clopton Bridge. There's some private projects there that have been authorized by FEMA and Montana DES. Sauter has some property, something he wants to do there at his address, and Antonex, and the Reach 15. Those will all be private projects. They have to come up with their own 25% match, either a dollar amount or in kind. We have to work with WWC on those projects and the tracking of those. So today, the action we need to take, the commissioners need to sign the disaster assistance grant agreement. And I think I got copies of that for the commissioners. You did print it off like email this morning. This is a 2-page agreement that they have sent us to sign and to agree upon. You got that, Commissioner?
Yes.
Okay, and you need a copy? You guys got a copy? Yeah. Okay, you may want a copy of it? I've got a copy for everybody.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
2 years ago, I think it was, we put about $50,000 aside to assist the private property landowners on, I think it was this project. We would loan them that money for their upfront match, and then when they were reimbursed, they would pay it back. Is that what this is?
No, I think what that would be, each individual landowner has to kind of decide what they want to do, like Antonex, they're going to do some stuff around their house. They have not decided what they want to go do yet. We haven't
Okay.
talked to them yet. The commission has to approve this funding first, and we have to go out there and talk to them. Same with Saugers. And same with Reach 15. Reach 15 is from Lower Deep Creek and wraps around there by Wilson's property and Terry Frost, Carlson's, and then comes down to the highway bridge. And their driveway's all been rebuilt. That was done by the highway department during the flood. And if those individual landowners want to participate, continue to participate in this, they have to phony up, and they have to enter into agreements and stuff. And then at that time, we'll address what kind of match, if they want to do a county in-kind match, or they need some private, or they want to borrow some money from the county.
Actually, Mike, just to clarify.
Yes.
If, once they do decide say they want to go forward, then yes, that's when that agreement would come into play.
Okay.
So, because it is a county-funded, it's actually a federally funded grant that is to Broadwater County. Broadwater County has to actually pay that match, but it's the applicant, or the individual landowner's responsibility to come up with that funding.
Okay.
And they would come in here and apply for that loan type. We'd have documents for them to sign. And, have some guidelines for them and stuff like that. We're not quite at that stage.
Okay.
Today, we're just accepting the grant for, the county's accepting it. Then we'll move forward from there. We'll work with the conservation district on those land owners. They have to get those 310 permits if they're messing on the stream. And we've been advised, the conservation district, we'll sit down with them. With this technical committee, we've met several times. We'll sit down with those private landowners again and kind of discuss what's been approved on their property, what they can do, and what's going to cost them. And if they want to borrow money from the county, they'll have to come in. We'll have to have a type of agreement with them.
Okay.
And clear all those documents with county attorney at that time.
3 years to do this. The completion date is not until 13th May 2018.
Okay.
So that's down the road, whatever they want to do. Any other questions for me?
So county attorney will draft that documentation, or how?
What we'll do is kind of prepare a rough draft,
Okay,
give it to him, and let him fine tune.
okay.
Either way, they'll have to be in agreement, even if they put cash up front. It's just to make sure that everything goes, according to a legal plan with the grant, so.
Okay.
All has to be documented.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
in kind, has to be certain rates by federal. We have forms and stuff, and that's what
Okay.
we're gonna rely upon Amber with WWC.
She's the brains of the
that
operation.
Right on.
tracks that stuff. We'll get, that's part 2 of our agreement. And we have to appoint a agent representative. And she's been doing it for phase 1. We'll continue to do that. That's the will of the commission.
So any further questions on the state disaster assistance agreement? If there are none, I would entertain a motion to sign.
I'd make a motion to sign the state disaster assistance agreement, hazard mitigation grant program.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the state disaster assistance agreement for hazard mitigation grant program. Any further discussion, questions? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Do you want me to use this as the original, the one you gave me this morning? Mike?
Yes, what I gave you this morning for the meeting. And now we're gonna do the funding letter of commitment to be next. I think some of you printed out, I just see one, Commissioner Slifka. I think you printed yours off. And you'll need a copy. Commissioner, you got your
Yes.
copy, okay? You guys got this. This is the funding commitment letter that Broadwater County, in accepting this grant, we have to promise to pony up our money, our share. And it can either be in kind, real cash money. We think we have enough scheduled for in kind with the road crew. We start building some of these bridges, we'll probably use the road crew, take those culverts out and do some excavation work. They'll probably let the contract out for the concrete work, the footings and the abutments. And then they're gonna bring in concrete sections and just lay into the crane, just like they have done on Lower Deep Creek Road.
Plus, we have around $40,000 carryover from phase 1 as match.
Actual cash, that was from the NRC.
That was from the DNRC and the TSEP grants.
Okay, we've got those actual dollar amounts to use. And then the county will have to rebuild that, it'll be up a little bit higher. And then we're gonna have to bring the road up, finish that kind of work, and track all that documentation, that'll be for the county to do. And then dealing with those private landowners, same thing, they'll have to come up with their, we talked about that already, with their funding and stuff. We'll be back into the commission with agreements with those people. We'll start with the conservation district and kind of work with the landowners, because they have to get those 310 permits and that's the street. We'll just start with that process, just like we have in the past.
Yeah. I think it'll be important from the landowner perspective on those individual landowner projects that we have those agreements set and in place before we do work on any of those. So that's all taken care of and there's no county money spent before that's all pretty much signed.
With these in-county matches as well as funding matches, anything that preceded the award of this grant doesn't count. Like if they've done some work already in the creek and stuff, that stuff can't be accounted towards this. It has to be during the grant period, their authorization and cutoff period. Same with county, so we're saving some of that cash on the NRC grants to use towards this. Any questions on the funding commitment?
Okay, hearing none, if there are no questions, I would entertain a motion to sign the funding commitment letter.
I would make a motion to sign the Phase 2 Deep Creek project funding commitment letter.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the Phase 2 Deep Creek project funding commitment letter. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries.
Last item on the Deep Creek would be a appointment of a agent for the, give you that, they have that document?
Is that to Mr. Kent?
Yes.
Yes. There you go. You got copies of this? You got three of those out there? I just noticed my title on there is incorrect. We'll have to reprint that out. Copy this. Copy, cut, paste.
So you're,
This is a, we're gonna,
it's not the commitment letter.
no, this is the one that's, I just handed out to you. Yep. We'll have to, I'll get that, I'll go downstairs and come back here shortly with one for you to assign. That's, you guys can go ahead and vote on this stuff. That's the will of the chair.
Absolutely, as long as the body stays the same, we can certainly go ahead and sign.
I'll be right back.
Later.
Any questions on that? Now, what we have done in the past, you know that I'm in the process of retiring. And Amber has done a great job with all phase one, and then she was even here when this grant was originally applied for in 2012, I believe, shortly after. And she keeps all the documents and stuff. And I did run this by Corey, and we ran it by Montana DES, and yes, it can be a contract, it doesn't have to be a county employee. We got that in writing from an email from Montana DES last Thursday.
Mike, there's been some confusion on what an applicant's agent is in the past. Would you just explain that so that it clears up any of that lingering confusion?
Yes, on this agreement you signed earlier, section 2, it says that you have to have an agent that represents the county, local government, that keeps track of the cost of the project. And we have contracted that with the WWC in the past. And they keep track of all the costs of their expenses, engineering costs, and as we get into letting bids and stuff for concrete, you have to bid that, of course, we'll work with Dana on that. I'll keep track of all of Dana's in-kind, both for the machinery and the hours that the county employees work to track all that stuff. That's what that person does. Agent's representative. With the NPG grant, they call it, with my emergency performance management grant, they call it the agency's an agent. But I'm not gonna do this. We've had her do that, and she's done a great job. And it's best to let the professional engineering firm keep track of these costs. I'm just a dirt farmer by trade. Have I adequately addressed that?
Perfectly, thank you.
Just one of the requirements of our agreement is approved. Any questions, Commissioners?
And then I would make a motion to sign the applicant agent representative request.
I guess you should ask if Amber decides she'd do it.
In her job description.
I will still do it.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the letter for appointing Amber Vitaland as the applicant's agent for this project. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. So we'll go ahead and sign that as soon as you come back with just the title change.
That's all I have on the Deep Creek project.
And Tim, your hand was up. Did you have a question?
I do. Tim Ravendall, just a quick question. Since the issue really arose in 2011 and the original grants were applied for in 2012, just for my own mind's sake, has the cost of mitigation of the damage done been updated since that original assessment? And the reason I ask is because some of the landowners have done some private mitigation work, which has changed the atmosphere of the damage and potential for future damage already. So my question is, you know, have we reassessed the cost of tax dollars going into this project? Or are we staying with the original 2012 grant application?
No, that was
on
part
high water?
that was part of the phase 1 project. And we went through with the Conservation District, and we had met with the landowners several times, individual landowners, and discussed what they'd like to do, what they would like to do on their property. And we submitted all that. We submitted this last fall, isn't that right, Sean? For our application
Yes.
finished up on phase 1, so it was current. Well, obviously the stuff's 9 months old. The analysis is 1 month old. It was like a $1.2 million grant total project, and whittled her down to about 600,000, whatever.
Okay, that was what I was
That's it,
getting
yeah.
to. Thank you, Bill.
And that rest of that money we're not asking for. That money stays with the state of Montana. That came with the presidential declaration on the 2011 floods. Other counties in Montana can apply for those extra funds, but we don't think we need them here in Broadwater County.
Thank you.
Anything else on Deep Creek?
That being said, I'll just note that they do have a little bit of extra money, so if we end up going slightly over budget because of bridge work or whatever, those funds are available.
Yep.
Very
But we're
good.
cost efficient, this county. We
Yeah.
won't run
I
over.
doubt we will, yeah.
I won't let you.
All right, before we move on then, I'm gonna go ahead and close this regularly scheduled commission meeting and open a public hearing for DES Adopt Pre-Disaster Mitigation Plan Update for 2016.
This is the document. We got a grant from FEMA prepared to update our 2009 plan, pre-disaster mitigation planning. What FEMA wants the counties, local governments, the cities, and states to do is look at the hazards in your communities and how can you mitigate those problems before the next disaster. And each county that wants to apply for funding in the future needs to have a current plan. And we got a $25,000 grant from FEMA about a year and a half ago. And we contracted that out, I think, last year about this time with Tetra Tech. And we had some public hearings, and we've been discussing in local emergency planning committee meetings. And this is our final product. And I handed you out a sheet. On the back of that sheet, page 2, you will notice a little discussion about that on the first one. And that's basically the risks, those hazards that affect Broadwater County are listed there. And most of those, I'll look them, I give all my little, here's one. Thank you. Those are the hazards we looked at. This is a little report there I gave to the city council just last Tuesday evening in their meeting, and they've approved it. It's kind of a document that we kind of need in the future if we have like a flood or a wildfire and we have a presidential declaration, like one of the dams upstream go out or something, and then we want to apply for mitigation funding, just like we did on the Deep Creek thing. We gotta have one of these things that's up to date. And basically it's just chock full of all kinds of technical stuff, maps and pictures and all kinds of analysis. And those are the different hazards we've identified countywide: the wildfire, hazardous materials, structure fire. We've had a lot of those in Broadwater County. Flooding, severe weather, drought, communicable diseases, earthquake, terrorism, dam failure upstream. We did an exercise on that earlier this spring with Northwest Energy Hipton Dam, and then your avalanche or landslide. And those are the things we primarily addressed in this. And the city has already adopted the plan, and this morning I'm asking the Broadwater County Board of County Commissioners to approve the plan as drafted, and we're all done revising it. It's been approved by Montana DES and been approved by FEMA. The final step is setting before the commission here this morning. Any questions on the pre-disaster mitigation plan? I might add that we, after the 2014 flooding, in March, we had a lot of snow runoff that day. We had some difficulty there on Dry Creek. And we had to, actually, the county had to excavate across Flynn Lane to allow the water to pass down to the river because it was backing up on down into the Deal residence, into their yard there and stuff. And one of those projects we want to do, we've applied for a grant through because that was a presidential declaration as well at that time. And we want to put in a box culvert there and then do a little work on upstream on Dry Creek. But before that project's approved, it's kind of tentatively approved based upon our adoption of this. Any questions from the public?
Tim?
Good, Chair, Tim Revin. Mike, just real quick, this is updating the plan from 2009.
Correct,
you
yes.
stated. What is the requirement with FEMA and DES Montana on having that updated? Do you have a regular schedule, 2 years, 5 years, 10
It's
years?
a 5-year cycle.
5 years, thank you.
And then they'll give us a little grace period if we have applied for federal grant and it's been approved, and we're in the actual process of studying, well, then we get kind of a grace period there. So
Okay.
we're actually exceeded our 5 years a little bit. But once we let them know we got the horse out of the barn, we get to go.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mike? Okay. Anything else from you, Mike?
Oh, I have commissioners, do you have questions for me?
We will close the public hearing and go back to our regularly scheduled program. Decision to adopt pre-disaster mitigation plan update for 2016. Any questions from the commission for Mike?
I make a motion to sign resolution 2016, adopting the pre-disaster mitigation plan for Broadwater County.
No, second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the resolution adopting the 2016 update to pre-disaster mitigation plan for Broadwater County and the city of Townsend. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Ann. All right, anything else, Mike?
No, I'll leave this down, clerk recorder's office, take a look at it, you might want to take
Okay.
a look at it. And we will, once I scan your resolution, and we'll take and put a voting page number on it. I'll also give her one for the city, and voting page, and then we'll scan those, and then Tetra Tech will put out documents, those CDs for everybody. That's all, anything I have, any questions for DES, you have for me?
Anything you guys?
Thank you.
If you don't mind, I'll get out of here. I'm sure you have other business.
Thank you very
Commissioner.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Appreciate it.
All right, we're a little bit ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
So, Corey is not here, as he is on National Guard duty for a couple of weeks. So because these items are all subject to change, I'm gonna move our 11:45 to now. So Corey Swanson, County Attorney, agreement to authorize prosecutorial services for special deputies decision. So we have the first one that we signed last week. We do need to put this to an official vote. We signed it on an emergency basis as Corey left last week, and there was a need for Carol Kane, Assistant Attorney General for Child Protective Unit. So we need to have an official vote.
I'll make a motion to sign the resolution for Miss Karen Kane, Assistant Attorney General in the Child Protection Unit.
I'll second.
Yeah, it's been moved and seconded to sign for special prosecutorial services from Karen Kane and the Assistant Attorney General from the Child Protection Unit. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And that was dated the 21st of July. All right, next we have same thing. We are authorizing special deputy prosecutorial services from Luke Berger, Lewis and Clark County Deputy County Attorney, as a special deputy for Broadwater County.
I'll make a motion to sign the resolution with Mr. Luke Berger with Lewis and Clark Deputy County Attorney.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Luke Berger as a special prosecutorial services, Lewis and Clark Deputy County Attorney. Discussion, Tim?
Madam Chair, Tim Ravendall, these two attorneys that are going to come in and help while Corey is out serving our nation, do we have within his budget to cover the cost of these, or is this going to be above and beyond, and if so, where is that funding coming from?
All funding will be in his budget.
It's within his budget?
Shouldn't be much, but any funding would come from his budget. Yep.
Thank you.
And like with any department head, if he, yeah, no charges for the attorney's time, but mileage will be paid, and other expenses, mileage at the .56 per mile. So any of those costs will come out of his budget, and he is aware of those. But like I was saying, any department head who has any expenses they find they can't afford, they come to us, and we either cut something or find a way to make it happen. So his department is like any other. All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Tim?
one further question, and I probably should be asking Corey this, but is this adoption of this program on a permanent basis? Is this a temporary fix for this problem? I guess that's one
Yeah,
way.
yeah, this is just for the time being, for this
Okay.
trip. The next one will have more of these.
Thank you.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Okay. All right, and the last one is a resolution for the prosecutorial services of Mary Kokenauer, Assistant Attorney General. And it doesn't have any expertise, so this would be general assistance.
I will make a motion to sign the resolution to receive assistance from Assistant Attorney General Mary Kokenauer.
No, second.
So moved and seconded to sign the resolution for special prosecutorial services from Mary Kokenauer from the Attorney General's office. Any further discussion or questions? All right, seeing none? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Same first and second, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Anna. Okay, we're still a little bit ahead of time. This is just some more mail, but also homework from last week. It's just putting into black and white from Corey, just his suggestion, we start putting everything into policy and written procedures. So this is just the claim approval process, and just the way it's been working. The only change here is all claims will be initialed by 2 commissioners rather than just the chair. So all claims are, submitted claims will continue to be placed in the top file of the accounting office. If accounting and department heads want to come together at the end of the budget season to come up with a numbering system, I think we really need to leave that to accounting. Right now, department heads will retrieve a claim, make changes and put it back. We can't stifle that process too much. If a commissioner removes any or all claims, they will inform accounting staff and will take full responsibility for returning all claims to the accounting office. If a commissioner has a question or issue with a claim, they will refer to the claims clerk. Oftentimes, they can answer the question. If a commissioner chooses to keep a claim, they will return the original to the claims clerk and make a copy. They will not keep an original. That should keep any from being lost in the future. If a commissioner has a reason to refuse payment on a claim, they will communicate that to the rest of the commission, either by making a note on the claim, sending an email, share their concerns with accounting staff, or bringing forward a copy in the public meeting. If there's a disagreement between commissioners regarding a claim, it will be placed on the agenda. The commission will vote. The majority decision shall be final. If a commissioner chooses to bring claims into an open public meeting, they will take full responsibility for removing any and all claims that could be considered private, including but not limited to those including social security numbers and/or HIPAA protected information. They also take full responsibility for returning all claims to the accounting office. Claims are paid only after they are initialed by at least 2 commissioners. Again, that's the only new piece here. They are included in the claims approval list. That's what we approved today. And the commission passes a vote to, quote, pay the approved claims. That's pretty self-explanatory. Do you guys want to offer any edits, any changes, or adopt this?
I'd make a motion to go ahead and adopt the claim approval process.
We have a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the claim approval process. Any further discussion, questions? Tim?
Madam Chair, Tim Roundout. The policy shows that from past being signed or initialed by 1 commissioner, now moving to 2. My question is why don't all 3 take that responsibility for those claims?
In the past, the way it was done is everyone has always reviewed all the claims, but it was up to the chair to initial.
I understand that.
Good, okay.
But there's-
So I understand your question is why not all 3? I think that, well, 2 is a majority, and if we had to wait on all 3, since 1 only shows up on Mondays, I'm afraid that claims would be stalled and then we'd be paying too many late fees. I think it's wiser for the commission to just go with the majority, which is 2. Certainly 3 is better, but that's up to all 3 commissioners to sign and be responsible to our jobs. All right, with all that, those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye? Opposed? Was that 3 ayes?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. We'll give that to accounting.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
where would those claims be for the general public to be able to sit and view them? When and where and how?
In the accounting office, just like any other records you want to sit and review. Again, though, for the public to view them, any with private information like social security numbers and HIPAA will be removed. That is not for public domain. All right. We have about 15 minutes. Everything else is kind of after our department head meeting. So if you guys would like, we can either take a 10-minute recess, or if there's anything for the good of the order that you guys would like to bring forward, we can do that.
I lost. What day was the airport meeting on?
It's going to be August 4th.
What's the time on that?
Those are either at 7 or 7:30,
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
We
Um,
weren't sure.
And I will, Jesse puts together the agendas. So we had a member who couldn't make the second week, so we're gonna change it to the 4th, and I'll just let her send out an agenda. And then she'll do the regular time.
Thank you.
All right, anything else from the commission? You guys wanna just take a 10-minute recess then till 11:15?
Yes, please.
All right, we are recessed until 11:15.